All right, we're in the after show. Thank you, Comic Fam, for joining us. I got my iced dirty chai. I'm drinking.
Chai?
Yeah, that's right. What are you drinking over there, Ryan?
What is a dirty chai? What does that mean?
It's got shots in it.
Already gross.
It's like chai tea, but they put coffee shots in it.
Okay. I have a mocha. Or do I? I don't even know what I have.
What do you got? You got a caramel latte.
It's a latte. That's what it is. It's not a mocha.
Ryan's like, oh, yeah, I'll take a coffee.
It's got caffeine.
Caramel and coffee in it. I'm like, oh, you want a caramel latte?
Yeah, I drink black coffee at work.
There you go.
So I'm that guy.
Keeps you going. Okay, I want to chat about a couple different subjects. The first one is, I'm going to save my story for the end. Let's talk about Joe Hill in this book, Basket Full of Heads. I'm going to read it. You're letting me borrow this issue here that I've had on display. So
I grabbed both covers. I grabbed the A cover and the B cover.
Okay, well, let me borrow cover A because I think this is going to be potentially worth less if something ends up spiking.
Exactly. I'm going to hang on to this one.
First off, art is great. I'm digging the backup story so far.
Notice the Watchmen ad?
I did. I saw the Watchmen ad. I only read the last 2 pages because of the extra story, because I'm going to save the rest of this tonight because I want to read it actually very closely. What was your first impressions of this book?
I actually was surprised at how slow it was. And I think coming from anybody that's not me, that might sound like a bad thing, but I really, really like the slow build. The nice, like they're laying the groundwork for something here. It's not just immediately jumping off into like, here's an axe. She's got a magic axe. It chops people's heads off and then they still talk to you after they're dead. It's like none of that. You see a glimpse of this axe in the background. She walks past it and it flashes like red a little bit. Like it gets this little bit of a glow in it. That's it. That's all you see of anything that's like mysterious or weird. And then at the end, there's like a home invasion or something. Something's about to come up, and you see like in the next issue is when things look like it's gonna pop off.
That's right. It says in 1 month the axe will fall.
Oh, that's exciting.
That's pretty cool. So I'm gonna read this. I'm excited to come back on the mic and talk more about these because I'm paying close attention to the Hill House comic book
I'm getting
line.
all of them. I'm on board.
I want them all. But there's a part of this at the very end. It's called the red ink section. A few words from the Dread Letter Office. First off, love that. He's calling his Dread Letter Office the red ink. This is Joe Hill. And he has a little, words for the reader. And this is the first issue that he produced. I found this fascinating. Ryan, please.
First of all, he looks so much like his dad.
He looks just like his dad, and it's awesome.
It looks exactly like an 80s photo of his dad.
It really does. All right, what did he say in the back of this comic?
For me, it all started here. My dad brought home DC Special Blue Ribbon Digest number 6, a.k.a. You Will Believe in Ghosts.
All right, and he says his dad, he's talking about Stephen King. So imagine a 7-year-old Joe Hill being given really, this is Stephen King, dude. He could have given him anything.
He would know what's scary, too.
He said, here's, anything he wrote.
Here's one of my books.
Here's my books. Yeah, you're going to...
I signed it, too. You got to buy the next one, though.
That's right, yeah. But no, Stephen King gave his son, to get him into horror, DC Special Blue Ribbon Digest number 6. You Will Believe in Ghosts. Very cool. Anyways, continue.
A.k.a. You Will Believe in Ghosts. When I was 7 years old, it gripped me like a fever. No, it seized me with the force of a skeletal hand, reaching out from under the bed to clamp hold of my ankle. I was terrified of what lay just beyond the cover, and yet perversely longed for it. I wanted the thrill of the uncanny and unnatural. I wanted to feel the whirl of peril and risk in the dark, and be released into the daylight at the end, laughing my ass off, heart whamming in my little chest. 40 years later, I can't say I've changed that much.
I love it, man. This guy's awesome. He's a great writer. He's been killing the comic book game for quite some time.
Lock and Key, baby.
Yeah, Lock and Key. My dad loves Lock and Key.
I read the first trade. It's really cool.
All right. Well, I'm excited for this because we have a bunch of comic books that are coming out from his production. This is DC Black Label, but it's also DC Black Label Joe Hill House Comics.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like layers within layers within layers.
And that also gives me reason to believe that there must be rights being retained by Joe Hill, which makes sense. I mean, this is a major author. This isn't Donny Cates getting a job at Marvel and Image and going around, making his rounds. This is Joe Hill, megastar, and he's got his own brand. So I think all of these issues are prime for speculation because it takes one of them to be optioned. And what better run of especially a horror comic book to option right now than something made by Joe Hill?
Yeah, and these are all brand new. These aren't tied to anything. These aren't continuations of anything. They're not connected to the DC universe at large. These are all just standalone horror series.
Fresh, original content from DC, more mature and affordable. $3.99. Go get it. I'm excited. I'm going to read this. I'm excited to talk to you about this in the future.
It's a good one.
Okay, let's chat about Rugrats. Rugrats in the comic book community. Okay. Rugrats. Tommy, Chucky.
Dude, I've been waiting this whole
Phil.
time to talk about Rugrats with you.
Hey, by the way, Rugrats is a comic book right now, and it's being produced by Boom Studios. Shout out Boom, who's doing Buffy and Power Rangers and a bunch of other cool stuff. But we're not talking about Rugrats today.
Damn it.
I know.
Next
I love
week.
Tommy Pickles, though, but
Chucky all the way, dude.
yeah.
I am Chucky.
You're basically
I
our
grew
Chucky,
up to
dude.
be Chucky.
I know. I grew up to be Tommy. That basically is what it is.
That's right.
Actually, growing up, I really identified with Tommy because I went by Tommy my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad would tell me growing up, like, you know, I don't know how true this is, but he'd be like, "Oh, around your first birthday is when the first episode." I remember watching like Rugrats episode 1 of Tommy's first birthday.
around that time.
Yeah, it was like
Early
I think
90s.
I think it was like 91.
Yeah, I think that's when it started.
And I was born in 1990, so I was turning 1
Your
around
dad
the time.
might be telling the truth.
He may be, you know. I don't
Get
know
him
if
on here and ask him.
I could do that.
Hear that, Pops? I don't think he can
I don't
hear.
think he can hear you. You have to be a little louder, but it's okay. But we're talking about regrets.
We are.
Regrets.
Okay. That's sadder.
There are times where you sell things in this hobby that you shouldn't have sold. Just, it's one thing to be like, oh, this book spiked, and if I held on to it, it could have been worth $30, and I sold it for 10. You know, there's times where you make a mistake, and you're like, oh, I listed this and I sold it, and it sold for $20 and it was worth $100. Done that too. Oh, I have done that. Yeah, and I keep the deal going because I'm about to take some bad feedback. I have 100% feedback on eBay. Shout out,
Baby.
Link in the bio. Support the show. Buy some comic books from us. But I want to talk about one that I will never forget. We all have these. Jeff has them. Russ has them. And Ryan, you're going to have them too eventually because you're going to end up buying comics like on a more like serious collector's level. Heck, we may get you into foreign comic books. Who knows?
I'm still a noob.
You're still a noob, but you do have some Silver Age, so we're getting you there.
Mm-hmm.
I sold a Hulk 181.
Uh-oh.
Okay. And I've sold a few.
First appearance of Lockjaw?
Lockjaw, exactly.
Right? Yeah, I think so. Lockjaw.
No, this is a really, really good Wendigo appearance.
First full appearance of Lockjaw. Cover appearance.
Cover appearance, right?
Cameo.
You're doing so good with the collector's
I
market right
can't
now.
remember.
Okay, this is first Logan, my man.
That's right.
That's right. First
Wolverine.
Logan. First Wolverine. And I've actually owned at least 5 or 6 of these in my life. I gave one away last year in the mail call.
Oh,
yeah,
I
we
remember
totally
that.
like straight up
That
gave
was the
one
key.
away.
Yep.
It was a major key. I probably gave it away too soon.
No, who got it? It was
Pop.com.
It was JoJo. Yep.
JoJo got it. Yeah, that was exciting.
She gets everything.
Yeah, she got a bunch of cool stuff. She's been doing it.
She's lucky.
Dude, we've had the mail call for over a year. We have members who have gotten like 15 mail calls from us.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them have gotten really good stuff. JoJo got the Hulk 181. I was so stoked to see the person who actually got it because sometimes people don't post it, you know? But anyways, Hulk 181. I had a comic book that I bought in the collection, and the book looks so good. The book looks so good. And this is before I was pressing, dude. So this book not only looked really good, when I graded it, I didn't press it, and it came back a 9.6. So, in theory, this 9.6 could have potentially had a grade bump. Potentially. We don't know. It could have, though.
Mm-hmm.
But let's just say it was a 9.6. I sold that book for so damn cheap. I was trying to like grow my first business opportunity, which I'm sure we'll talk about eventually on the mic when we're much bigger. But I had other business plans that I was trying to grow. And at that time, I was looking for money to kind of make my dreams a reality. And, you know, honestly, that's how the show started. I mentioned last week, a lot of my Hellboy memorabilia.
Gone.
It's gone. It went into the microphones. It went into the table. You know?
Right into the microphones.
Right, literally. I just shoved them in. But this Hulk 181, I sold for...
I don't even know if I want to hear the number.
Man, it's going to be rough, dude. Okay, a 9.6 right now.
That's a better frame of reference. How much does it sell for right now?
Jeez, right now, let's go look. Here, I'm going to pull up on eBay. I don't even remember offhand what that book is going for in the moment.
And I've never
because
known.
it's going up over and over again. So I'm just going to type in Hulk 181 on eBay.
should call Russ and ask Russ.
No, you know who should ask is the Guru, because that dude owns like 20 plus copies.
I saw that. That was depressing.
So here is let's see here. What do we have? You can get a 9.6 right now on eBay for $19,000.
Holy smokes. 19,000 or 1,900?
19,000.
$19,000.
Yeah, $19,000. It's a 9.6 first
about
appearance. It's off-white white pages, and I believe mine was white pages, so it would be more than that. You know, there's a white pager on here I'm looking at that's for almost 20 grand. I sold my 9.6, and this was a long time ago. It's like 7 years ago, 6 years ago. I sold mine for $3,000 plus trade. I got about $1,000 in trade. Maybe made like 800 of it back. So it was like 800. So I basically sold a Hulk 181 at 9.6 for $3,800. All right. So the person, to clarify, the person who bought that 181 was I Love Comics. It's a great shop out in Vancouver. Chris is a great dude. And you know, I no ill will on that deal, because at that time that was a fair deal, but I regret it ever since, and I'll never forget about it. But I remember when that book was graded initially. Who did I get that graded by? Corner Comics out in Kirkland, Washington. Shout out Paige, who's no longer there. She actually sold Corner Comics to Comic Dungeon out here in Seattle, but Corner Comics is still there. I remember getting a call from her when I was working in Snohomish as an assistant manager at Wells Fargo. And she's like, "Are you sitting down?"
Was that before we met?
Before we met.
Okay, yeah.
I was like, "Well, are you sitting down?" I'm like, "Why?" She's like, "I got your Hulk 181 back." I'm like, "Oh, what was it?" She's like, do you want to know? It's a 9.6. Come get it out of my store. I don't want it here. That's what she told me. She's like, it's too expensive. She didn't want to handle it. So it was it's an interesting time. It was definitely one of my biggest finds and best like turnouts of the collection. But man, you know, those things, you know, seller's regret. It's a bummer. Seller's regret, like it's one of those things that you actually had it. Buyer's regret is another thing, but really seller's regret is like one that really sticks.
At least with buyer's
you.
regret, you still have the comic. You
Yes.
know, at the end of the day, you maybe paid too much for it, but you at least have something.
Right.
If you just sold something for too little, you lost the thing, and you also don't have the amount of money that you should. That's a bummer.
It's a bummer. But you know what? We pursue. We keep going.
Exactly.
The hunt never stops. You never know when it may come up again. I can hear dogs barking outside. I don't care. Because we're with the Comic Fam on the after show. We do appreciate you.
You guys come here specifically for the dog background noises.
Yeah, it's just like a little bit of
or the little kids
insight what we deal with here. Recording all the time, you know, trying to make content for the Comic Fam. We do appreciate you. Do us a favor, give us a rating. You know, if you're listening to us on iTunes, it does go a long way for our show. And as always, have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.
Bye.